As you can see, I'm back in my place, journaling. And I've discovered that journaling really helps me keep up with things I need to work on and how I'm doing on them. I've got the one from last year, and so I can look back and say, hey, here's some areas that I seem to have grown a little bit, and then here's some areas I still need some work on. This is really an important place to kind of help me prepare with everything that's going on. I've really struggled with this particular video because I knew what I wanted to say, but I didn't know how to put it together. And this is where it all began. Back in the day, there was a show that I absolutely loved because of just the insight and the sense of humor that was used to kind of portray some bigger truths. And that was The Chappelle Show. Dave Chappelle is brilliant and makes great social commentary on things that we need to do things about. One of my favorite episodes was, what if the internet was a real place? And it was when the internet was really beginning to expand and to grow, and people were spending more time online. So what he did was take kind of like this trippy mall, and he went to the different stores within the mall as if he was visiting internet sites. Now, he did it in the Dave Chappelle way, which was super funny. But what he was trying to say was, I recognize that this internet is a real place. And when we go there, we interact with people almost like we do in the real world, but not quite the same, and not sure what it's supposed to look like. And the reason why I remembered that episode was because I'm trying to figure out how to do that now. I want to know what it looks like to be online and to do it well. Because if you're like me, the internet right now is a circus on fire. It is crazy town. There are all sorts of debates and arguments and conspiracy theorists who are posting huge manifestos that you just go like, where are you getting this from? And I don't know how to dialogue. I don't want to get sucked into pointless debates. I know you, but I don't know you. And so I'm trying to figure out what it looks like to be a believer, to be a follower of Jesus, and be a good voice online. Because I think this is our tendency. Either we want to just leave it all and go hide somewhere and just say, let that happen, which I get because sometimes I need a break from everything that's going on. Or we like fully engage and we are arguing and debating with everyone. And I'm not sure either extreme is really that good. I think if all of the wise, thoughtful people leave, it does not make the internet go away or better. So what does it look like to have good conversations? What does it look like to engage? This is where I struggled. I wanted to go through the life of Jesus and find specific points where Jesus interacted in different situations with different groups of people and pick that up out of the scriptures and drop it into our specific life and say, well, Jesus did this, so we do this. And Jesus reacted this way, and we do this. And it wasn't working. And I think the reason why it wasn't working is it's a bad idea. Those of you who grew up in churches as teenagers through like the 80s and 90s, remember that awful comparison, contemporary Christian music, worldly music chart. Like if you like Rat or if you like Poison, you'll like Stryper. If you like Christina Aguilera, you'll like Amy Graham, which is stupid. It was a bad chart. The music wasn't good, and nobody used it. But it felt like we were doing something. So I realized that pulling all of these specific situations out of the life of Jesus and trying to drop it into our life was the same bad idea. But I didn't think the principle was a bad idea. So this is where I landed, and this is where I am right now, and I'm still working through this because I feel like we need to be online and we need to do it well. There's two principles that I pulled out so far from the life of Jesus that I think we can apply and put into use when we're online. The first one is when Jesus came and was talking about this kingdom, this thing that he had come to build, it was an expansion of who was included in a relationship with God. Like before, there was this small group and it was them and God, and that was it. And churches still do this, and Jesus was going like, no, everybody's invited to the banquet. Doesn't matter your race, your identity, your economic status, how you see yourself. Everyone gets invited to this, and he broke all sorts of barriers that the religious leaders and even the government leaders put into place of who was worthy and who wasn't. Jesus destroyed all of those things and said, listen, you're a child of God, you're included. So that was the first one. The second one was he was for people that got pushed to the edges and the margins of society. He hung out with religious leaders. He hung out with wealthy people. He hung out with some of the elite. But he was for those that society seemed to trample over and push to the edges, and spoke for them. And so those two principles, expanding the kingdom of who got to be included, that everyone was invited to the banquet, and that he was for the marginalized, are two principles that I think really can help me when I'm online. Does my language, does the way that I engage people, the conversations I get caught up in, are they expansive? Are they including people that often get pushed to the edges? And am I for people that get piled on? And that's hard, because sometimes that means people I don't particularly agree with, or maybe even like. But I think those are two principles that I can learn to be better at, to help me be online better. So I don't know if that helps you. I'm going to continue to work on it. There'll probably be some journaling about it. But I think if I can apply those two principles, expanding the kingdom, who's included, and being for people that were pushed to the edges, I can be online better. So there's that. I hope that helps. Don't forget that we are collecting donations for a variety of things that we're doing. Our backpacks for the two schools. If you want to donate to that, it will help cover the backpacks and the school supplies, and we will take care of the school supplies. The food pantry, we'll be handing out food again in a week and a half. So if you want to donate to that, that would really help. Benevolences, helping people with their utilities. The live stream equipment, there's still a few things that we need to do to make that better. And then the general fund. So if you can continue to help us do that financially, that would be great. Don't forget about the survey. Please fill that out. We want to hear from you. That's important. That's going to decide where the future goes and what happens here at NCC. And we are in the middle of putting together what it looks like to continue the race conversation, to build bridges, to have dialogue, to help us to mend some of the hurts that are happening in our society. So this is kind of long. There's a lot of stuff going on, but I hope it helps. So stay cool. It's going to be a beast the next several days, and we will see you Sunday. And I'm going to get back to this. Take care.